Howdy, howdy do, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name is Adam.
And welcome to episode 220.
Yes.
One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
Our lives are different to anybody else's. That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor. The definite article, you might say.
The trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I am the doctor!
For now, for this moment, I am the doctor again.
The ground beneath our feet is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. And the entire planet is hurtling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. And I can feel it. We're falling through space, you and me.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect. But actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
I could be a curator. I'd be great at curating. I'd be the great curator. I could retire and do that.
I'm the doctor. I've lived for over 2,000 years, and not all of them were good. I've made many mistakes, and it's about time that I did something about that.
Bit of adrenaline, dash of outrage, and a hint of panic knitted my brain back together. I know exactly who I am. I'm the Doctor. Sorting out fair play throughout the universe.
Howdy do, Who fans. Welcome back to the show. 220 is upon us. Hope you've all had a cracking week and that you've hopefully managed
to do
something Doctor Who
related. Yeah.
Adam and I were talking before we kicked off recording that we think it's going to be quite a slow year for Doctor Who in more ways than one. It just feels already, we're only in February, and it already feels like it's a bit of a drought out there in terms of, obviously, no new Doctor Who coming to our screens, but in terms of just general Doctor Who news and merchandise and stuff like that, just feels a bit dry these days. Not sure if anyone else has noticed that, but yeah, it's going to be a long slog, I think, 2019.
Feels a bit barren. It's funny because like with the merchandise side of things, it's a double-edged sword for me, that, because in one way I'm kind of relieved there's not much out there because I just need to stop spending, but part of me keeps thinking, oh, what's new, checking out the merchandise site and what's coming out soon and that sort of stuff. So there's a couple of good bits on the way, but yeah, there's not a great deal. Yeah, that new Sill thing that we talked about the other week, that new Sill drama, that looks quite good.
That looks pretty good, yeah. And I think because we weren't exactly spoilt, were we, for merchandise last year when new Doctor Who was out? I think we got a couple of Titan figures, a Funko Pop, the Barbie doll, and something else. I don't know, like a range of T-shirts, I suppose, and stuff. But there wasn't, it didn't push the boat out in terms of, and I think they announced stuff fairly late as well, didn't they? So we had the announcement at the London Toy Fair, I think it was, that they were going to bring out figures for Ryan and Graham and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a few bits coming out that. Yeah.
It just feels a bit late to the party, It would have been cool to have that stuff last year when the series was going on to make the most of the hype that was around it and so on. But yeah.
The things I'm most excited about this year actually are the classic series box sets, which the Blu-ray box sets, because the first two of those have been brilliant, and season 18's on its way. I think it's just been pushed back, actually, isn't it? Has the release date just been pushed back a couple of weeks? But I'm really excited for season 18 with all the new extras and all that sort of stuff. So those sets, I mean, I love the thought of being a collector. I love sort of putting them all in order and having them all along the shelf, and I just love the thought of filling in all those seasons along the shelf. You know what I mean? So I hear that they're selling really well, and the BBC have already got the next. I've heard 2 or 3 planned out and stuff. So it's all rumor, but I'm really looking forward to getting more of those sets.
Yeah, no, they're beautiful, aren't they? They're really, really good.
I'm still watching season 19. I watched the. I keep thinking of what there's got so many extras on it. I keep thinking I must have worked my way through it all now, but no, there's so much on it. So the other night I watched the extended version of Black Orchid.
Oh yes,
there's an extended version of part 1 because I was thinking, right, what haven't I watched off the new set yet? And that was one of the things.
Right.
And because that's a story I've always really liked. I know it's a bit divisive. I know Davison himself hates it. I mean, the commentary is brilliant. He absolutely destroys it. But I've always really liked it. I loved it as a kid when it went out. I just love the mystery side of it, like this strange person being locked away in a house. And it always had something different. And the Harlequin costume as well, I loved as a kid. So, yeah, it's one that I really like. And I just thought it'd be quite good to watch an extended version of part 1. I was just thinking, I hope it's just not extended cricket shots. I was thinking, what are the new bits? I've got to be honest, I really struggled to spot what the new bits were. Because it's only about a couple of minutes or whatever longer, but I couldn't tell what was new. And I thought I would because I've watched it so many times.
Right.
I thought, when you spot something new, that bit wasn't in it before and stuff. But I must admit, I couldn't really see anything new. So I don't know. Maybe one of our listeners who's watched it can tell me. But maybe just some of the shots are a bit longer or something. Rather than being cut. Yeah. So fine, yeah. I think there was maybe one scene that I thought seemed a bit longer, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, but I enjoyed watching that again. I always think, do you like that story? We've reviewed it, so I think we can. Yes. I think we're allowed to say. We have reviewed it, haven't we?
Yeah, back in...
a long time ago, wasn't it?
2016, I think. Yeah, I think we quite liked it. It was, I think, other than the very camp-looking robot thing.
Robot?
What's the robot? Oh, am I talking about the right one? Black Orchid?
No, Black Orchid's there's no, that's the thing Peter Davison hates about it, is there's no science fiction element to it at all.
Hold on. Sorry, you are right.
Yeah. Camp robot? What, Metal Mickey?
That might have been in the Visitation.
Oh, yeah, the glitter robot.
Sorry.
Yeah. Now I can see why you'd get those confused. Yeah.
Black Orchid. I can't remember. We have. Whoa.
It's the one with it's. There's no science fiction. They land on a train station. They go to a manor house where everyone has a bit of a dance. The Doctor plays cricket for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then this guy with a sort of deformed face grabs Nissa.
Yeah.
Because she's got a double. Called Anne, who's got a mole. It's the only way you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And then he ends up falling off a roof, and then they all go home. It's a wonderful story.
Yes. No, I do. Yeah, of course, remember now. Yeah.
I do like it though.
Yeah, I think we reviewed it relatively okay, probably a 7 or something. 7 or 8. Yeah.
It's one of those cheeky little 2-parters that if you haven't got if you haven't got the television to yourself for long, like often happens to me, my other half goes out for like an hour. I think, what can I quickly watch while I've got the TV? It's a nice little cheeky 2-parter you can just bung on, and it's quite an easy watch as well.
It is, yeah.
Quite topping, as Nissa was. Quite topping.
Oh, here we go. We reviewed it way back in episode 40.
Oh, my word.
Which was 2015. I gave it a 7.5. You gave it an 8.
An 8, yeah. Yeah, I like it, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Those Blu-ray sets. I heard rumblings that they were going to do a series 10.
I keep hearing that.
Yeah, that might be quite cool. And a series 26.
That's the one I would love. I'd love some McCoy. Yeah, really would actually.
Yeah. 26. Come on. That'd be amazing.
It would be brilliant. I'd absolutely love that. Yeah, well, I'd love all of them, to be honest. But there are certain seasons I like more than others. For example, I'm not a massive fan of Key to Time, that series. But season 26, love that. Yeah. I like a bit of that.
Yeah. Go on, I like a bit of that. Go on.
Season 26.
Suits you, sir. And series 10, that might be cool.
Yes, yeah, well, yeah, a bit of pertwee. Yeah, it'd be good.
A little bit, yeah. You've been up to much, mate? I saw that you're on your travels at the weekend. You went over to do the quiz of Rattle-On. Anyone that doesn't know, it's a very small. Actually, no, it's not that small. But it's a quiz that happens in in London is it once a month, once a week?
Once a month.
Yep. There's like a pub somewhere over in East London. They do like a little quiz there with prizes and whatnot. How'd you get on?
Yes, I had a really good night, actually. It was a really good fun. It's they're over in Bethnal Green. So it's just a little bit of a tube journey out. We came 8, but I don't know how many teams there were. So 8 probably.
Probably 8.
But no, I know we weren't last because I heard some groans before we were announced. So
right.
Yeah, we came 8th, which we did all right. But we had a good time. We had a few drinks, and those quizzes are always really good fun, actually. The only downside was, and this nearly happened last time, because I remember when me and you did the quiz last time. Mm-hmm. And you said, when the quiz finished, you were like, right, I better go. The tubes are a bit messed up. Better be on my way. Mm-hmm. And me being me was like, shall I just have one more drink? And I thought, no, I'll come back with you. and thank goodness I did, because I just about made the last train that time. Well, this time you weren't there. And so what happens? I have that one more drink. I have to do it. I've got chatting to someone and I'm chewing their ear off about something or other. I have one more drink. I said, I've got loads of time to get the train. What happens? Missed the blimmin' train. Last train home. Ended up getting a coach.
Oh, right.
And drifting in about 2:15 in the morning. Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good end to the evening, unfortunately. I was in the doghouse. And also I was blimmin' freezing walking back from the station. So yeah, it was a great night, but that took the edge off slightly. That's the problem. I never seem to be able to get back home from it. But yeah, it was good. The only other thing I've been doing is the tickets for the Macra Terror BFI screening went on sale yesterday.
Right.
And nabbed a ticket for that, which is good. I must admit, with Legopolis, because I really like Legopolis, I was just absolutely, couldn't miss out on that event. I couldn't wait to get the ticket. With Macra Terror, yeah, I'm excited about it, but I did hesitate a little bit because of the price, because with this one, I think Legopolis was £16 a ticket. With this one, it's 27, which is a bit. I was thinking, I've spent a bit of the weekend. I don't really have nearly 30 quid. And the reason for that is you get the DVD included in the ticket price, which is all well and good.
Yeah.
Except A, I want the Blu-ray, and B, if it didn't have the DVD included, it'd probably be 16 quid, which, is a no-brainer. I'd have just got it straight away. So I don't know. I did sort of have to double think yesterday. I was like, 27 quid plus booking fees, 28, It's quite a lot of money, isn't it? I mean, I love those events, though. So obviously I went ahead and bought it anyway. But I don't know how I feel about it when they include the DVD, because in some ways it's nice, but you might not want the DVD. You might just want to go to the event.
Especially if you've pre-ordered it like I have.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's not as if you're getting it free included in the ticket price, is it? I mean, you're getting it, I suppose, at a discount because you're getting the ticket event price, and I don't know, I'm just not sure how I feel about it. But anyway, I bought my ticket, so I am going now, so I'm quite looking forward to that. And Annika Wills is going to be there doing a Q&A, and she's always really good, so should be a good event. Did you get a ticket for it?
I didn't, mate, no, for that very reason, no.
Yeah, so I wondered if you might. Yeah,
so I've pre-ordered the Blu-ray, and I think the Blu-ray, you get the DVD with that anyway in the box, I think.
I think you do, yeah. Are you going to get the Steelbook?
The Steelbook, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. That's what I'm going to get, although I haven't ordered it yet.
Yeah, so I'm not really... like you said, the events are very cool, and it would be nice, but I don't know, after paying... What was the price of the Steelbook? Let's have a look. So the Steelbook was, 20 odd quid, whatever?
Yeah, it's 24, something like that.
Yeah, so I'm not paying 24, 25 quid for it, and then paying 20 odd quid to get it again at the event.
Oh, nearly 30, yeah. So it's 27, 28, yeah.
Yeah, so I love those events. They're really cool, and I can't wait till this Sunday when we go to...
I must admit, I'm much more excited about Legopolis. Yeah. I just am, because it's, the Fourth Doctor Star. I've got more of a buzz for it. I mean, I'm looking forward to Macra, obviously, but I'm much more buzzing about Legopolis this Sunday.
Yeah. Actually, no, the Steelbook is £40 on Amazon, but it won't stay at £40. It's just,
their prices have gone mad.
Yeah.
The Steelbook was, I think, 24, and they've suddenly upped it to 40. If you go to good old Zoom, I think it's still 20 something on Zoom. And I've ordered from them a couple of times, and they're pretty good, actually.
They're really good, yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to give that one a swerve, mate.
Yeah, it's a shame actually. I thought that might be the case, and like I know I was nearly in the same boat as you. I thought, oh dear, shall I? But I do love the events. But yeah, I can understand why you're not.
Yeah, but I can't wait for this Sunday though. That's one thing to look forward to. Logopolis.
Yes,
that's going to be so good.
I'm very much looking forward to that.
One of your faves, mate.
It's one of the first stories I remember. So it's got a sort of special place in my heart, if you like. It's one of the very first things I ever remember seeing Doctor Who wise. I think the Melker's the first thing I ever saw. In terms of Doctor Who, I mean. But right. But Logopolis is definitely one of the first, because I just remember all the like the cloister rooms with the ivy around the, all that. So I don't know. I just have vague memories of it, and the TARDIS and everything. It just TARDIS in a TARDIS, and it's shrinking. Remember seeing that as a kid, that TARDIS shrinking. That blew me away. I must have been so young as well. What year is Logopolis?
Oh, crikey, mate.
81, is it? Or no, it must be. I don't know. I must have been so young. I'm amazed I can remember it, but I can't. Unless it was a repeat, of course, but I don't think it was.
You're correct, mate. 81.
81, yeah.
I was a nipper. I was only 1 year old.
But no, you weren't.
Yeah, I was born in 1980.
Oh, I thought you were 72. No, I'm I'm a late 70s child.
You're a late. Okay, so you would have been you've got memories of it then, like your earliest.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it would have been 5 or maybe 6 at a push. But yeah.
So I'll nostalgia just does it for you on this one.
It does. I've always just really loved it. I can't wait to see it on the big screen. Yeah. I know there's no guests at this one, and they normally do have some, don't they? But there's no guests at this event that we know of. They might drag Frank Skinner on stage, or like they normally do, or Matthew Waterhouse might burst through the door with glass in hand. Or, I'm here. Yeah. I don't know. I got a feeling somebody will be dragged up on stage, I'm sure, but there's nobody announced like they normally do.
Wonder if there'll be any tears.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's got new effects as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like the old effects. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing it with the new effects just to see, but I'm a bit of a grizzled ancient when it comes to these things. I like the old, egg cart and spaceships flying through the air.
I want my effects back.
Yeah. I'm never a fan of the new effects, because I think they date quicker than the old ones. I think sometimes you look at it and think, yeah, that's not bad. And then you go back to it, and what was it? Was it Caves of Androzani? They did an extended version of it or something, and the new bits look terrible. I mean, they look terrible then. They probably look even worse now.
Yeah.
I think it was Caves. I might be getting mixed up with something else. Or was it Planet Fire? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, we shall see. New effects and Logopolis is going to be great.
Yes. Otherwise, I haven't been up to anything else. I don't know about you, mate. But
No, nothing. The weeks are flying by.
They are, though.
At the minute. They are going so quick at the minute. I don't know about you. I was thinking last night, it's Tuesday. I need to watch Sarah Jane because we record tomorrow. I was thinking, God, that podcast has come around quick, and weeks are flying by at the minute. Yeah.
Anyways, though.
Must be enjoying myself.
Indeed, yeah. We haven't been up to much, so let's land it, see what news is happening. Remember the episode Rosa?
Oh yes, series 11. Yeah,
one of the good ones from series 11. Which is very good, actually.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Cracking story, that one. It's bagged an award.
Oh.
Yes, at the Visionary Arts Organisation Awards ceremony. It bagged Television Show of the Year.
Oh, that's good. Television show?
In that category. So that episode, Rosa.
I see,
Yeah. So this is a fairly new awards ceremony. I think I've not heard of this one before anyway, as far as I know.
I haven't heard of it.
Yep.
No.
And this got picked up for, it's like a recognition for, so it's like to celebrate media and culture that have made sort of a bit of an impact, if you like, on social, culture and social stuff. So you can imagine that Rosa fits that quite nicely, given the racial aspect of it and the emotional impact and that sort of thing. So Malorie Blackman, who co-wrote it with Chibbers, They were both there to pick up the award. Malorie says, what a lovely birthday present. Chibnall and I won a Visionary Honours Award at BAFTA this evening for Doctor Who Rosa. I love my job. Thanks to all those who voted for us, which is nice. No comment from Chibbers. He probably didn't want to put any words down on paper in case it was he's very protective, isn't he? Chris, can we just get... Okay, he's gone.
He's gone.
Yep. So the Visionary Arts Organisation, it was founded by Adrian Grant, creator of the hit Michael Jackson musical Thriller Live, apparently.
Oh, right.
The goal is to see a more unified, peaceful society that works together to create diverse opportunities, break down barriers, and allow young people to dream, achieve, and succeed.
Right.
Which is all very nice. He goes on to say that it's not about awarding egos or fame. This is about recognising culture, media, and entertainment that has inspired, created awareness, and advocated social change. Through the Visionary Arts Organisation is my long-term goal to inspire creative to produce work that can make a positive difference. We should be on the bloody list then.
Yeah.
Where's our award?
No, we got to. Our egos are too big. Probably won't allow us in.
That might be what it is, mate. Inflated egos. Yeah. We always strive.
Fame grabbers.
Yeah, we always strive for positive thinking and actions and stuff.
I know. Yeah. Maybe next year. It's a new thing. We're probably on the short list.
What's the guy's name? Adrian Grant, right?
Yeah.
Let me just find
Tell
him.
Tell him. Make sure you mention that we loved Thriller.
We loved Thriller.
Say, whilst coming back from seeing Thriller the other week, we thought we'd email you.
I'm going to stalk him on socials. I must be able to track him down quite easily.
Yeah.
I'll ask him where the podcast category is. But
get on it.
Yeah, but that's it for news, mate.
Well, mind you, EastEnders is in there. That can't be in a positive category. EastEnders.
Well, it depends.
The most negative, depressing program on TV.
I know. It's I haven't watched EastEnders for so long. I can't even remember. I don't even know who's in it. I think must be going on 10 years. I think the last time I even watched like 10 minutes of an episode.
No,
it's been that long. But yeah, so that's a good point. So in terms of other shows that.
Well, when you speak to what's his name, Adrian, say to him, get that out of there.
Yeah, well, I think it's probably down to the little individual storyline, maybe, because there was a thing actually. I think it was last year at some point, end of last year. I remember flicking through the channels and seeing Bonnie Langford, her character. She was involved in this storyline where her son was stabbed.
Oh, lovely! Yeah.
And exactly, yeah, quite depressing. But I think the way they done it was quite unusual for EastEnders because they kind of they sort of injected these interviews with the cast members about sort of young people and violence in London and so on. It was quite bizarre. Right. So the storyline, it was about her son's funeral. He'd been stabbed or something.
Yeah.
And so the program was going, and the only reason I saw it, because like when I saw it, I was like, Bonnie Langford's in EastEnders. When did that happen? And then I saw the storyline and she was running to her son's funeral or something and she didn't want to go, and then she was there. But then they had these little 10, 15 second interview bits where people from the cast of EastEnders were giving their thoughts on knife crime and stuff like that and racism in London and stuff. And I was thinking,
I see.
Is this like a documentary thing? But no, it was quite bizarre. But anyway, it's probably little things like that this kind of event picks up on, these social storylines,
yeah,
all that stuff.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but it beat off shows like EastEnders, as you said, something called Save Me.
Never heard of it.
Something called Kiri.
Never heard of it.
First Dates, you must have heard of that one.
Yeah, I'm on it next week.
And something called There She Goes. I've only heard of EastEnders and First Dates, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool, though, that Who has bagged another award. Very, very cool.
It is. Well done, Malorie.
Well done,
and
Malorie.
Chibbers loitering in the background. Well done.
Yeah, his big facelet, the big smile.
I know, he's so happy, isn't he?
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for news. Shall we get old grumpy Bants in?
Has he got something, is he? Go on then.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Big Chief.
Talking of EastEnders, it's Cindy Beale.
Cindy Beale. Bloody hell, mate. I've never known. Wow, you're onto something there.
No, I just saw a lot of people saying it, that's all.
Yes, yeah. Big Chief, the company that makes the very nice 1/6 scale figures, of which there are many.
There are, yeah.
In their library. They've made quite a few Doctor Who ones, haven't they? What they did before, the War Doctor and 10th Doctor, I think Clara's in there, and some others. I think they do plenty of other franchises now, I think.
Yeah, they do. I think they do Star Wars, actually.
They do a few Star Wars bits, yeah. And they're bringing out a new figure, which is, unsurprisingly, the 13th Doctor. And this is kind of a weird one, because the way that they've done it is they've launched their own internal Kickstarter type of thing for it. So, when a company or a product wants to get some sort of cash up front, so you go on Kickstarter or whatever it is, and then you rally to get people to put their money down, and then you offer them, discounts or something for them parting with their money early, on the proviso that the product is obviously done when they meet their goal.
Yeah.
So Big Finish have done something similar, but they've not gone on to Kickstarter or anything like that. They've done it themselves internally. And the way it works is they need to take a minimum amount of orders that runs for a certain amount of time, and then they will release the figures and so on. Start manufacturing.
Release the figures, yeah.
Yes, they release the hounds, yeah. They'll start manufacturing them once they hit that goal. If they don't hit the goal, nobody gets the figures and they get your money back.
All right.
So it's, now there's two ways. Well, I assume that's how it works anyway. It will only go ahead on the proviso that this mission that they're calling it is met within the criteria. So let me just make sure I'm getting this right. Otherwise, I'm going to be in big trouble, aren't I? So I think it's done in conjunction with something called Launchpad. Anyway, they want to sell 500 units. That's the goal. 500 orders. If they don't get 500 orders in within the next 28 days, there's 28 days left in the campaign. It's a 40-day campaign. If they don't hit 500 orders by the end of that, the figure's not going ahead. No good.
And it says here that only 500 are going to be made.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So
right.
This is one of those, it's kind of interesting. I can't get my head around, well, there will be a few reasons as to why they're doing it this way. The most obvious reason is the company doesn't have the money to put into doing just a mainstream, widely available figure just for the general public to buy in case they don't sell enough and they're going to lose money. So doing it this way, they know that it will cost them exactly this much to make. So they need to make this much money. That equates to this number of orders. Everything's tied up in a nice little packet. So that's the first one. The other reason it could be just they want to experiment with something. They want to see if this is a model they want to go with, if it's successful, if they fulfill all the orders. When it comes around to doing the next figure they want to do, they'll be like, oh, the Jodie Whittaker figure was a great success doing it that way. So let's continue that. So at the moment, they've sold 301. 301 orders have gone through, and there's 28 days left. So they're roughly halfway through, or just over halfway through the time. They got, just under 30 days left. So they need to sell another 199. 199 orders to go, and then everybody gets their order. So if you want it, you're going to have to pre-order it. You cannot just skip the pre-order and then hope to pick one up afterwards. It doesn't work like that in this occasion. You order it now in this mission-style time frame, or you don't get one. Simple as that. And prices are, you can buy it in full, pre-order it now, for $239.99, or you can pay for it in 3 installments. And then you'll end up paying $259.99 because there's a little bit of interest, I assume, on there. So that's the biz model, if you like. That's the way that Big Chief are doing this one. And if you buy it in full, the only thing that you get that you wouldn't get if you paid for it monthly would be, there's 2 things. The first one is you save £40 off the usual price. So apparently the usual price is $279. So if you buy it in full, you save 40 quid and you get it for $239. If you pay for it monthly, you only save £20. You end up paying £259. But the only other main difference I can see between the two is that if you pay for it in full beforehand, then you get one of the low numbers. So you'll be in like the bottom low edition numbers. If you pay for it monthly, then you could get number 460 or whatever, something like that.
It comes with I'll just see, it comes with an autograph plaque, hand signed by Jodie as well. I wonder if she'll do her full signature or she'll just do her new JW that she's been doing.
Yeah.
I should hope for that price you'd get the full autograph.
Yeah, so for that price, you get free worldwide shipping. You get the autograph plaque that you've just mentioned. You get a stand to put the plaque on. You get the free bonus incentive, which is the maroon rainbow striped top. The low edition number if you buy it in full. And you get double the amount of Big Chief reward points. Oh, that's the other thing. So if you pay monthly, you don't get double reward points. You just get the normal amount. Yeah.
I see.
So yeah, and some terms and conditions, because I know that I've probably said something wrong here or whatever. I don't want to land us in trouble or put misinformation out. So just to confirm, number one, the mission is running for 40 days and there is 28 days left at the time of this recording, which is Wednesday, the 13th of February. Once the mission reaches the required number of supporters, customers who have pledged their support will be charged for their orders and the manufacturing process will then begin. Should the required number of supporters not be reached and the campaign proves unsuccessful, all orders will be cancelled.
Oh.
Yeah. Orders may be cancelled within the first 40 days of the campaign. Orders are non-transferable. Free worldwide shipping excludes Russia, South America. Customers in the UK and Europe are subject to VAT, which is in the price, so don't worry. Customers outside of the UK are exempt from paying VAT. And should we receive not enough supporters prior to the 40-day campaign completing, customers will be should we receive enough orders, so if they fill the quota, then customers will be contacted to make the payment in full or their first monthly instalment, and then the manufacturing process will begin. So before we actually just lastly comment on the figure itself, what do you reckon to this whole model, mate, this sort of Kickstarter type thing?
Yeah, well, I get the reasoning behind it. The thing is, I've never ordered a Big Chief figure. They're just not my thing. But my friend Ben absolutely loves them.
Ben Lett.
Ben Lett, Host Productions, loves these figures. And I don't know if this is something they do every time. Is this something they do every time they launch a new figure? I don't know. Or is it just something, like you said, they're trying with the 13th Doctor? Because if it's something that they haven't done before, it sounds like maybe they're not that confident with it. I just don't know. But I guess it makes sense. I just kind of feel sorry if they get to like 499 and orders, and then you've got nearly 500 people disappointed when they cancel the whole lot. I just don't know. It sounds quite a good idea at first, but when you start looking into it, I'm not sure. I mean, as I said, they're not my thing, so I'm afraid I won't be getting one, especially not for that price. That's a lot of dough, isn't it, for a figure? I'll stick with the Barbie doll, but 50 quid. But yeah, I don't know. If these are your thing, I think great, but they're just not my thing. So I don't know. I won't be getting one.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. The other reason why they might do it this way is to create some kind of urgency around it.
That's true, yeah, because otherwise I suppose people are like, I might get one when at Christmas, or they want to get these done, and yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a big fan of Jodie's Doctor, you like the 13th Doctor's look and everything, and you're just a big fan of Jodie, then this looks pretty good. I think I've said this a few times before over the years, but one thing that I quite like about Big Chief, and it's a very similar problem that Robert Harrop's has occasionally, and that is from the neck down, the sculpts are normally bang on. But the face sculpts, I just can't seem to get I just can't. I think the closest they've ever got is potentially the 10th Doctor or maybe Eccleston, those two figures. The War Doctor kind of was there. Clara, yeah.
Rose was terrible.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely not for us. I think that's fair to say, especially at that price. So I get the love and the and the whole craftsmanship that goes into making these figures from Big Finish, it's very, very good. But I think for that price, I would expect, because if you think about, there's a couple of similar companies based over in the US, very, very popular. They're called Sideshow Collectibles and Hot Toys.
Mm.
And if you look at some of the head sculpts on some of those figures, they are eerily accurate.
Yeah.
I'm talking like literally, it's like looking at a photo in terms of their face and head sculpt and so on. So if the standard was there, in terms of they looked as good as those, because the price is very similar as well. You can pick up some really good 1/6 scale Sideshow figures for around £250. And they look amazing. Really, really good. So yeah, for me, for the price, it's a no-go. And I'm just not sure on the sculpt for this either. The face doesn't...
I joked it looked like Cindy Beale. It does, I'm afraid. I think did I see somewhere they're doing an alternative head that you can swap or something? I don't know. That they said, because this is, there's been, what the internet's like. As soon as they posted pictures of this, people were ripping it out of it, as they do. And I think they did, Big Chief did respond saying, I think there's going to be a different head sculpt or something. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, either way, I agree with you, mate. It doesn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah. So, so another very quick rundown on the figure itself. This might sway your decision if you want to buy one. So, a fully realised portrait of Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor. You have a neutral expression or a smiling expression. There we go.
So right. Okay, there you are.
Yeah.
There you are.
They've only advertised it with the neutral one, I think, by the look of it.
That's right,
I'm not sure what the smiling one is. You get Anatomic's female body. You get the trench coat with the functional pockets, dark navy rainbow striped top.
Functional pockets?
Yeah, well, you get the 3 1/4 length sleeve top, the white top, the 3 3/4 length cuffed trousers with braces, hiking socks, which you can partially see, high top boots, sonic screwdriver unit, the sonic screwdriver lit, whatever. Oh, yes, it lights up. Okay. The psychic paper wallet, a pating. Now that might
pating? Oh, sold.
There you go. You get the pating. You get a Kablam box containing a fez.
My word.
And a help me delivery note. So you get a couple of cool little accessories in there.
I can't wait to see the pating.
Yeah. So any fans, I'm pretty sure our buddy Ben Lett will be all over this.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
But anyone else, let us know if you're going to pick this up. Just head over to bigchiefstudios.co.uk and you'll be able to, it's on the homepage there, you'll be able to have a look. But you've only got 28 days left. By the time this goes out, you'll have 26 days left, or 25, whatever. So
I wonder if they'll do it.
There we go. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they get it. Yeah. But that's all we have. Dalek Tat wasn't impressed, put it that way.
No. In fact, he's run it over.
Yeah. He didn't even come into the room. He just just mentioned it and went on about his business. So there we go. Review time.
Yes.
What we got, buddy?
Sarah Jane. So, Gary, I see in the stars that we are going to have a two-parter here. So, yeah, it's Series 2, and it's an episode called Secrets of the Stars.
I have a message for the world. Children of Gemini, join the ancient lights.
Clyde, this thing that's possessed you, it's alien. Sarah Jane! It's got my mum!
Since the broadcast, some people seem to have been hypnotized and have walked out of their homes.
Children of Leo, join the circle.
It's taking over all the star signs one by one.
Yes! My destiny is now.
My destiny.
The theme gets in your head, doesn't it?
Old Russ Abbott.
Yeah, no Bella Emberg, though. No Blunder Woman in this one.
I seem to have very vague memories of my mum watching the Russ Abbott show when I was quite young. Because Russ Abbott's, I think he used to be primarily a comedian, didn't he? Do sketch shows and
that's right,
impressions and stuff. But when I saw his name, I was like, is that the same Russ Abbott? This is going to be a...
He hasn't changed much, actually, has he?
No, not really.
I mean, he looks a little older, obviously, but yeah.
No bright orange hair or kilts or anything. But...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
The Secrets of the Stars, anyways. It was first broadcast back in 2008 in October. It's a two-parter, as always, with the Sarah Jane Adventures. It was written by Gareth Roberts.
Oh,
It was directed by Michael Kerrigan Gary Russell was a script editor on this one.
Gary Russell.
Yeah. Stars the usual Attic team, now obviously including Rani in this one, and Russ Abbott and a few other people. The storyline is quite simply, there's a guy who's a bit of a fraudster. He's been taking money off people, claiming to read their stars and tell their future and whatnot. And then he gets zapped by this ancient light, which possesses him, and then he possesses somebody else. And I think the premise is mainly that the ancient lights are something that existed before the creation of our universe. And it's only now that literally, they're kind of stealing our phrase almost, if you like, but it's only now that the stars have aligned. And now that they can travel they can bring all of the light and energy down onto Earth, channel it through this guy now, and they can control the Earth. And it's kind of done, it's sort of wrapped up in a kind of star signy, astrology kind of wrapper, where they're targeting everybody by their individual star signs and that stuff. So, right, what did you reckon to Secrets of the Stars?
Secrets of the Stars. I really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think I was expecting it to be a little filler. I don't know why I thought that, because I've never seen this two-part before. So, and it's mid-series, and even though there are a lot of Sarah Jane episodes I haven't seen, most of them, in fact, there are ones that people always talk about.
Right.
And I'd never even heard this title before, so I just assumed it was going to be a bit forgettable and, as I say, a bit of a filler. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I especially the first part.
Right.
In fact, probably more the first part than the second, because the first part I just thought was excellent. I loved the beginning with him pretending to read the girls' future, and then admitting he's a fraud, but then getting hit by the ancient light and actually turning into someone that could do it. And I thought, oh, this is a great first, that sort of pre-title sequence was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought first few minutes was excellent, and that leads into the scene where he's on the stage and he starts talking about the Doctor and telling Sarah Jane, that he knows all this stuff. And I thought, this is brilliant. I'm loving this. Great cliffhanger. And part two was very enjoyable. I don't think it was as good, because part one seemed to set everything up really nicely and it told the story, whereas part two just seemed to be sort of 25 minutes of conclusion, if that makes sense. Like right. It literally was just them trying to stop him all the way through. So there wasn't as much to part two. So I wouldn't say I was let down by it, but I just thought part one was particularly strong. Right. But as a two-parter overall, I really enjoyed it. And I thought Russ Abbott was great casting. He looked like he was enjoying it, and I think he did go a little over the top at times, but I didn't mind. I thought he was really good fun in it. So, yeah, I really like this one. I don't know why I'm surprised. I just wasn't expecting it to be anything that good. I thought it was just going to be one of those, it was all right, but I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. What do you think?
I did enjoy this one, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't enjoy it as much as all the previous ones that we've reviewed up to now.
Oh, really? Okay. No, so I would see I'm the opposite. I actually thought maybe because I went in with low expectations, I thought this is one of the ones that I've enjoyed most.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think one of our reviewers mentioned this as well, that, and this, for me personally, this is the difference between a great series and a great show and the not so great series. So, I'm going to jump on the negative train just for a second.
Oh, careful now.
So ring the bell. Here we go. And Series 11, right? When we reviewed the great episodes from Series 11, so actually it's not a negative train because I'm going to mention some really cool stuff. When we reviewed the really good stories from Series 11, that put us on a bit of a high for that week. But then when we got round to the not so good ones, in our opinion, it almost felt like, we would just
derailed it
a little bit, yeah. Whereas the difference with this, though, and you and I have loved the Sarah Jane Adventure since we started reviewing, haven't we? And for me, even though this wasn't, in my opinion, as strong, it was still really good. And I think that's a testament to the writing and the cast and so on. That even when you get ones that you think, oh, that's not going to set the world on fire, it was still really good. It was still a really good watch, you know. So I think that just shows how good Sarah Jane is overall in terms of this series anyway, series 2 and, you know, series 1 that we've already done.
I don't think we've had a single episode yet that we thought was bad, have we? Like you said, we've thought they've all been, you know, some have been really good, some have been good, but we haven't had anything that's been like, yeah, I found that really boring or... I mean, I know they're only 25 minutes each, so maybe that's why they just nip along being two-parters, but there's been no episode so far, touch wood, where we've not enjoyed it or thought it was too silly or anything. They've all had something, they've all had a merit to them, haven't they? They've all been on a certain standard.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And I think for me, that's what I didn't finish watching this and think, oh no, you know, I hope they bring it back, quote unquote, you know, the next time we come around to review it. I just thought that's really good. It was enjoyable. I didn't once reach for my phone and wanted to do something else. I still really like the story and the cast and stuff. For some reason, I just thought it wasn't as strong as the previous couple of episodes from this series and series 1. And I think the reason for that is because I think episode 2 just drags ever so slightly. I think you can see it coming. You can see the end coming, but it just takes quite a while just to actually get there. You know.
Yeah, I must admit, I did feel the same because I thought part 1 was brilliant. I really liked it. I did think there was about halfway through episode 2 where I thought, yes, it's still good, but we are just going around in circles a little bit now.
Yeah.
But I did love I loved the twist, and I should have seen it coming. I'm going to ask you straight away. Actually, I should have seen this coming a mile off. The whole, because everyone's being controlled by their zodiac signs basically, but of course Luke's not got a birthday or anything like that, so he's the only person on Earth that isn't included in this, you know, can't be controlled by it. And so he saves the day, really. And I thought, I loved that. I loved that twist because there's a couple of doppelgangers thrown in, isn't there, where Sarah Jane thinks she's worked out how to stop it, but turns out she's wrong. And then it turns out that she suddenly thinks about the fact that Luke touched Clyde and just before he, you know, was... as he was possessed, and that sort of saves it. So I thought it was a really good twist. I thought, and it's bringing back in the fact that Luke is, you know, not human or was created rather than born, and all this stuff, which I think hasn't been mentioned a lot, even since the first series. It gets thrown in there now and again, but most of the time it's not really been brought up so far. So I like that. I thought, they're just reminding us again that he's a little bit different and he feels a bit out of place compared to the others, and so I liked all that stuff as well. But I didn't see that coming, that twist. And yet it's so obvious when you think about it. But did you see it or not?
I didn't, no.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say, yeah, because it is pretty obvious when you think about it, isn't it? Because he goes on in episode 1. He's like, there's a whole scene where he's like, I don't have a birthday. I wasn't born and all that. I was created. And I was thinking, it was like just put right out there for everyone to see. I should have seen that coming a mile off, but I didn't. And so when it is revealed, I was a bit like, oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. Yeah, but I'm glad you didn't see it. I thought it was just me being a wally.
No, mate, I didn't see. I for some reason, I always, and I'll tell you why I didn't. I've obviously overthought this, you know. But the reason why I didn't, I feel like I didn't see it coming is because I think that's the other thing that I think could have been slightly better is the ending of it. So I think what they're trying to say is Luke is the only being on the planet that's not human. And so he's the one that can break the link. And I thought to myself, well, in the world of Doctor Who, which this is set in, obviously, I would say that there are lots of inhuman aliens on the planet at any one time.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know, so that's what got me. I mean, it's completely and utterly ridiculous for me to think like that because this is a children's show. You know, it's like, you don't want to tax kids' minds too much. You don't want them to think, well, actually, Mr. Roberts, I would say that there's approximately X amount of aliens on the planet, so I refute your end. You know, you can't expect kids to be sitting there thinking that stuff. Yeah. So it's ridiculous for me to nitpick to that extent. But I think because I'm an adult and because I've obviously got too much time on my hands, in that particular pocket after I watched Sarah Jane. I just thought, yeah, there's probably other aliens on the planet that would have just, done a similar thing maybe. But overall, it was, I'm just nitpicking for the sake of it, really.
No, I do get what you mean. It's a bit like the fact that I kept thinking, because he was going around the zodiac signs saying, right, Aries, you're now under, Taurus, you're now under, Gemini, you've been under. So I was thinking he's going around them all. And I was thinking, so what star sign is Sarah Jane? Because he's practically at the end now and she's still not possessed. And actually, because of the way the story is wrapped up with it being Luke, they could have possessed Sarah Jane, and that actually might have added a bit more. It would have made the like you said, the second part, it is slightly lacking, and that would have added another sort of scary element to it. Of, oh my god, even Sarah Jane's under now. How's this going to be saved? And so, because I kept thinking, why is she just happens to be the last star sign, and he doesn't ever get to that one or whatever. So that, I'm really surprised that they didn't do that. I was convinced that any minute now she's gonna, like when the Rani suddenly turns possessed, and I thought, obviously that was going to happen. And I thought Sarah Jane's next, but she never does she? So I don't know what star sign she is, but she escaped it. But there's no reason why he couldn't have done that, and it would have actually added something a bit more to the episode, I think, if she'd have been possessed as well. Because it wouldn't have made any difference. It just would have added something to it. Because I will agree, as much as I love this part, episode 2 is slightly lacking.
A little bit,
yeah.
I like the idea of the storyline was quite interesting, especially in episode 1. I like the idea of that. I like the fact that there was something happening that they couldn't get their heads around. That was quite cool, because sometimes it is a little bit, no, I wouldn't say easy for them, but sometimes and again, these are like little patterns in the writing that you can pick up from children's shows, because it needs to have this sort of familiar writing style where something will happen, somebody will get attacked by an alien, or some strange event will happen involving an alien. They'll sort of come out of it they'll go to Mr. Smith. I need you, Mr. Smith. The fanfare.
Fanfare music.
He'll then scan something or search for something, and they'll be like, right, it's this alien. So now we need to go and defeat that alien. So I like that they stepped away from that format, if you like. And
because I love that bit where Mr. Smith can't read anything wrong. Because he's just a computer, because it's ancient time over. He's like, nothing is wrong, but they're all about to be killed or whatever. I thought that's a great little twist, that he can't see anything wrong. Yeah,
it's cool. So so there's obviously something happening. This guy, Martin Truman, he's been possessed by something. And it's kind of frustrating them a little bit, especially Sarah Jane, that's like, come on, this must be some kind of alien energy or some kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But it all stumps them, and they don't know. So I like that they stepped away from the usual format of alien attacks. They have a little bit of a scuffle. They escape. They research a little bit, find out what alien it is, and then they put the plan in to stop it. So that was different. I did like that.
It was different. Yeah, you must have got chills with the flashback scene to school reunion.
Yeah,
that was brilliant, because it was so quick as well. But it's just the way they tied it in with Martin Truman just telling Sarah Jane, sort of, I know all about you, and you've travelled and you've been to the stars, and you were left behind, and all this stuff. And her face, she's like, what? How does he know this? And I just thought it was such a good scene. Then we get the little flashback of, I just love that bit anywhere where he's like, hello, Sarah Jane, and the TARDIS, the camera pans round, and it's a great scene anyway. So I was just a little bit like, little chill down the spine when that popped up on screen. I thought it was a brilliant scene.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's cool also that that Gareth Roberts explicitly said, there's no romance involved. No. He's like,
oh yes,
a man from your past, a professor. No romance. No, not romance. More of a companion. This really sort of nailing home, like there's no funny business going on.
In the TARDIS, yeah.
So that's cool. And so what did you think to the whole astrology aspect then? Because for a time, I thought, are they going to go down the magic route? Are they going to leave the path of science fiction? Are we going to go down the magical, mystique kind of road? But they kind of leant towards it a little bit. But I think that's only because it was unexplained to a large extent. But
yeah, no, I thought it was a really good concept. Actually, I love the idea of questioning astrology, and like you said, I love the phrase that you quite often use, that the stars have aligned and all that sort of stuff, and and just people being frauds, exploiting that sort of thing, but actually there being something to it. And I thought it was a really good concept. I loved it, and I like the fact that in that scene I was talking about where he's like, reading Sarah Jane's history to her. I loved it when he said, "And I can see the future, and you normally win, but this time you're going to lose." And I thought that's brilliant. He's predicting the future and reading her stars, and I just thought it was a really nice idea.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it was,
you have to suspend a bit of belief, but you have to with anything.
Well,
and I just thought it was good. Yeah. Just thought it was a really nice concept. Yeah,
especially with Doctor Who. I mean, it goes back to the thing where I think the most famous comparison or analogy they gave is always that scene with that. Who was it? Somebody watching Superman. I think it might have been in The Big Bang Theory or something like that. And people always reference it where someone's wife kicked off at him for watching an unrealistic film because, Superman was doing something unrealistic, and he turns to his wife and says, "This is a film about a man who can fly. He's got laser beams out of his eyes or something, and you're complaining about the velocity that he catches Sarah Jane falling from a skyscraper."
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be able to match her speed correctly and all that stuff. You're getting bogged down with the details, but it's about a man who can fly.
Exactly. I think Peter Capaldi said that about the TARDIS once. I can't remember. One of the stories come under criticism, and he was on stage and he said, so people want to bring up that, but they're quite happy about a police box that's bigger on the inside floating through time and space. And I can't remember what the story was that was getting some flack, but he'd obviously sort of picked up on the criticism of it. And I thought, he's got a good point. Where do you it's strange the things we will just believe into the story, and the things that we sit there think, oh, well, that's silly, that wouldn't happen. And it's strange when you actually start breaking it down.
Yeah. I think the best way to look at it is, look, the Doctor Who as a world has been created for Doctor Who that, yes, the basis for it is set on Earth most of the time, and it's meant to be within our world. But that doesn't mean that our world of physics and all that stuff apply to everything, because otherwise that's the thing with sci-fi. A lot of people like to try and link it to real world stuff and all that, but at the end of the day, it's just fiction, isn't it? It's just entertainment.
It's escapism.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just escapism. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I know what it was. It was the moon was an egg, I think. That was what it was.
The one, yeah.
People were saying, how ridiculous it was. And he just said, well, where'd you draw the line?
Yeah. I remember, because people were saying, well, the Earth relies on the moon for like the rising tides and the oceans and all that stuff. And without the moon, there'd be tsunamis and the world would collapse, everything. So without the moon, the world's finished. And, with that big fluctuation with the moon, the egg bursting out and the creature and stuff, before it lays the egg, the Earth would have been in turmoil and stuff. And that was it, And he was like, well, this is about a guy who travels back in time and forward in time in a police box. So I know exactly what you mean. It's like times where you're watching something and you think, oh, this is ridiculous. But then you have to instantly remind yourself, well, actually, you do have to suspend belief a little bit. And
you do.
And just rock and roll with it, so I like the astrology side of things. It's also...
I did, yeah.
And I like the fact that they highlighted the skeptics and the nutters. I thought that was really cool. So you had people like Rani's mum who were completely into it. They were sold.
Oh, yeah.
And also the woman at the very beginning as well, who's like, well, I can miss a bit of my mortgage payment. I don't mind that. As I'd rather you read me my future and everything. So you have these people that are completely bought into it, and I use the word nutter there. That's probably, inaccurate of me. And if you like all that stuff and you believe in it, then crack on. That's your bag. But they also highlighted the skeptic as well. So Sarah Jane, she's very much like...
Oh, she's very skeptical.
Yeah. And rightly so, because she's seen far more than anyone else, in the program. So she's like, well, there's usually an explanation for stuff. I think that's what she was getting at. I don't need the patterns in the stars to tell me something's good or bad or whatever. So I like the astrology side of it, but I like the fact that they grounded it as well. It wasn't just everybody starry-eyed, to excuse the pun, Just going with it. They had the both sides of the coin, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But it didn't sort of teeter too much on the edge of magic, which is good, because we've seen it a couple of times in Who, where is this magic or is this alien sci-fi stuff? There's a line, isn't there, that you don't go over. A
fine line to tread. Yeah, I mean, I know some people hate sort of the sort of Merlin magic side of things. I'm never too bothered by it. I think it comes back to what you're just saying about, where you draw the line of belief, if you know what I mean. But I don't really have a problem with it if it's not scientific or if it's more magic. I don't think it really bothers me, to be honest. I quite like it, a bit of a mix of the both anyway.
Depends on the story and how well it's written,
Yeah.
But there's one story that always gets people, isn't there? It's the McCoy story, Battlefield.
Battlefield, yeah.
Because there's some parts of that are, a lot of people always say, oh, that's nothing to do with sci-fi. That's like a magical thing.
And it's funny because even though I'm not a massive fan of Battlefield, I've never really had a problem with that element of it, if you know what I mean.
No.
It doesn't bother me at all. But I know, there are some people that just think it goes into the mystical side more than sci-fi side too much. But I've never really felt that.
I know it's bloody magic.
Your old mate McCoy.
Old McCoy, yeah.
Yeah.
So story-wise, I thought this one was good. Concept was good. Like I said, episode 2, though, I think we could all see the end, not so much the twist and how it was ended, but we can all see that, this whole circle of light that this guy was creating with all the different star signs, you could see that it was going to go boobs up for him. It was going to collapse. Mm-hmm. But it just took a long time. Well, it felt like quite a long time to actually get to that point. Like you said, there was a lot of going round in circles almost.
Yeah, because I think in episode 1, everything moves along nicely and there's lots of different scene settings. Like 1 minute he's in the theatre and then he's at his home and then we're in the attic and stuff. Most of episode 2 is running around the theatre and him just stood on the stage talking to the news channels and stuff. And I thought, there's just not as much to it in episode 2. It does feel like, to be honest with you, because obviously the 2 episodes together would be sort of a 50-minute story. You've probably could cut out a good 5 minutes and have a decent 45-minute episode. You know what I mean? It does go a bit round in circles. Part 2 for sure. I'll tell you what I did love though. We saw the newsreader that pops up every now and again, the American one.
Oh, her, yeah.
She gets possessed.
She does.
She? And I thought that was hilarious. What is her name? When I was going to write it down and I was thinking, I can't remember her blimmin'. I mean, the character name. She pops up all the time in like the RTD era. She's like the American newsreader from,
Yeah, she's in it quite a lot. Trinity Wells is her name.
Trinity Wells. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I love it when she gets possessed. That was funny. In fact, there's quite a few bits in this. You can see Gareth Roberts' humour. He's quite good at, I think, at writing, bits of humour here and there. And there are quite a few bits in this that were sort of making me not laugh, but just put a smile on my face, Yeah. Like Clyde being so cocky and full of himself and, he's a bit of a lad. And some of the stuff he was coming out with, like, I saved the day. And the ending, actually, skipping right to the end, when Luke was like, up, down. He's like, oh, go away. And all that sort of stuff. And, because he'd been hypnotized to make, to make himself look silly. Little bits like that I just thought were really charming.
Yes.
And just, again, I wasn't like rolling on the floor laughing, but just put a smile on my face. When this story wrapped up, I think that's why I just thought, that was really good. I was just beaming after watching this because I just love this team. I love this group of guys. I love spending time with them.
Yeah, No, I completely agree. It's those little scenes of little bits of banter and comedy and because they do try and the show as a whole. It does try to promote that sort of friendship and being part of a,
definitely.
It's a good thing for kids to have that sort of shown to them, that your friends have always got your back and, friendship is good and all that stuff. It's a good reinforcement for the age group this was targeted at when it first went out,
Definitely.
So it's good. I do like those scenes when they're winding each other up or having a laugh. It's good.
Yeah.
Because the one thing you wouldn't want it to be like, is everything is happy and directly happy all the time. So there are times where like one of the episodes when I think it was actually The Last Centauran. You know, where it was either I think they had a similar storyline for both, but The Last Centauran and Invasion of the Bane, where it was Maria or Rani who kind of got taken with Sarah Jane quite quickly, and they wanted to hang around with her more and be part of the team and so on. And Sarah Jane almost is quite cold with them.
Yeah, that's right.
Quite,
yeah,
you know, doesn't want them around, not because she doesn't like them, but because of their safety and so on. So there are little elements like that where it's not always like, oh, Sarah Jane's not got a big smile on her face and welcome me into the team and all that stuff. You know, sometimes it does go a little bit not as you would expect, but it does turn out good overall, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they definitely show you both sides. I can't remember what the story was, but I think it was, what was the one you did with Phil from the Who's He podcast? Because that had quite a serious underlying storyline, didn't it? And you were sort of saying, they don't show the Gorgon, they don't sort of shy away from things, but then, you know, they're aware of the audience that this program's aimed at. So it's there for them to pick up on, but it's not too heavy. I can't remember what the subject was now. Was it Alzheimer's or something like that?
Yeah. I think it was that one we did anyway. Yeah.
So it strikes a really good balance, I think, this series. So far, anyway, I've been just a really good balance between being fun and it's what I would call a proper family show. It's, you know, I don't sit there sort of feeling like, oh, why are we reviewing this kids program? I don't feel like that. I sit there thinking this is just great fun.
Yes.
You know, I definitely sort of go back to being a kid watching it. It makes me sort of reminds me of the great shows we used to get as during our, the 70s and 80s. We got brilliant,
amazing kids TV.
Amazing TV shows. And it's just, for me, it's up there with some of the best. I just think it's got that fine line between, like you said, just not being too heavy, but dealing with social things as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. Let's talk about some characters then.
Yeah.
What did you think to Rani's mum and dad? So Geeta and Haresh.
I thought the dad was better this week because obviously we only got introduced in the last story, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, as headmaster.
As the headmaster. And I thought he was quite good in this one because he's, like you said, he's a bit more, he's not so into it. So he's a little bit embarrassed by Geeta getting so, and she's quite loud, isn't she? So, yeah, I thought he was quite good this week, the dad. I'm starting to warm to him a little bit. Geeta, I like her, but she's just a bit OTT. But I guess it's fine. I don't sit there and think, oh dear, she doesn't annoy me, but I think she's a bit OTT. She's the sort of actress that I think she's, that sometimes when they get cast in a show that's aimed at kids, they think they have to be a bit zany and silly because it's a kids show. So I don't think she plays the part as serious as the others, but it's not a bad thing. It makes her, stand out different from the rest. So yeah, I do like her. I just find her performance a bit OTT compared to the rest.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. So it does feel a little bit like she's a bit too sort of Colgate
too smiley. Yeah,
at times it's like, hello,
I do love it that she's still getting Sarah Jane's name wrong. I love that.
Oh, that's funny.
Just that she's like, that's what I said. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, they weren't too bad. I'm with you on the dad as well, Haresh.
Yeah.
He was quite cool in this episode because he has got a bit of a calm exterior about him. There wasn't any point in this, even when Geeta was possessed and she's walking out on the street, he never flipped out or freaked out. He was pretty calm. So quite interesting to see what they do with his character. I'm wondering if he's going to get mixed up in anything because
I think so. I get that feeling.
Yeah, because so far they've had to have a very clear wall, haven't they, between him, because he's quite a firm, strict headmaster in the school, isn't he, that we saw in Day of the Clown.
Yeah.
And he really, really didn't warm to Clyde, did he, at all?
No, bad influence.
Yeah, but now he's almost like, at the end of it, he's like, see you later, lads. He hasn't got that sort of standoffish thing. So I'm interested to see what they do with his character, if they do anything at all, because every single Sarah Jane adventure from here on in is fresh for me. I haven't seen any of these, so...
most of it is for me as well, yeah.
The few that I had seen were from series 1, so this is all going to be fresh now, which is cool. What did you think to the assistant to Martin Truman, the woman who gets possessed at the beginning, who's happy to fork over all the mortgage money and
Oh, her. Yeah. So not the one that's on stage with him. You mean the woman at the very beginning? Oh, is that the same woman?
Same woman, yeah. Her name's Cheryl. Oh gosh,
yeah. Of course it is. Yeah, it's just because she wore a suit for the rest of the episode. Yeah, of course it's the same woman, isn't it? Yeah, no, I thought she was all right actually. It just made me laugh in that scene how quickly he confessed to being a fraud. I know it's just to move the story on, so I'm not going to nitpick at it, but it just cracked me up the way she's like, oh, the mortgage money, and he was like, oh no, keep it, I'm a fraud. He could have just said, no, you're all right. I see it in the stars. You need to keep the money. You didn't have to sort of confess, but yeah, no, she wasn't too bad actually, because she's got a sinister undertone, which is what she's supposed to be when she's possessed. And I like the fact that when he's gloating about not caring, he's like, I've never been important and now I am, so I don't care what happens to the human race. She's kind of the same, isn't she? She's like, yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah.
And so I thought she was quite a good psychic. She doesn't get an awful lot to do, but she is a presence. I wouldn't say she's throwaway, because there are scenes when when the kids turn up at the theatre and she shows them to the seats and you just think, yeah, she's a wrong 'un. And so she's definitely got a presence on screen. So she weren't amazing, but she was fine, I think.
Yeah,
in terms of her performance, yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was okay. Not too bad.
Yeah.
One person who I thought was pretty dreadful was her husband, who shows up at the theatre.
Old
Stuart. He's you can see why. So he was the guy, the hubby that turns up. He's like, I want to know what's going on with you. You don't talk to your wife like that.
No, and also he was a bit cringe, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes, I mean, with Geeta, sometimes her performance is over the top, but she's still likable. But then you get someone like him that, unfortunately, they're just not that great in their performance, and it's just a little bit cringe.
Yeah. Well, I say wife, I mean any sort of significant other. You don't sort of, I want to know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
Wait for a response from the other person's script. Okay, this is not how you act normally at home. Wait for the reply. It felt really like there was like a teleprompter almost that he was just reading off of. It was very, very wooden and square, but
thankfully he's only in that one bit.
Yeah. Yeah, bless him. Rightio, Russ Abbott then. Martin Truman.
Russ. I thought he was great casting, mate. I really enjoyed him. I will admit he does go over the top. I'm not going to pretend he doesn't. But it didn't bother me. I just found the performance fun. He looked like he was just having a ball playing that part to me. If anything, that's why I think he perhaps got carried away. But I think he just really suited it. And I just enjoyed his performance. OTT as it was, I just thought he was really good fun in it. Fun, and he had he was good at being evil, and I just liked him. I thought it was a very good casting choice to have him, because he is predominantly known for comedy rather than drama. So, but I thought he was good.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I liked the most about his performance, really. I thought
he was over the top.
Yeah, well, I thought his acting skills were pretty good, actually. I thought he came across very well. But the thing that I liked about it, I excused the hamminess. He hams it up a little bit, but I excused that because you can tell that he loved doing it by the look of it. He absolutely bought into that character.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that part of it. So there were times where, he's chewing the scenery a little bit and he's, he's trying to come across as a higher power, and he's doing it through his voice, because he was not very animated at all in his performance, for the most part, he's just, and maybe that's the thing that they might have been able to tweak a little bit back then when they were making these. Because I said the same thing even about Bradley Walsh's performance as the clown previously, where the great character and the actors really getting into the part, but they seem quite static. There's not a lot going, like for this episode as well. The majority of it, he's just standing in one spot, not even taking one step anywhere. He's in one spot on the stage, isn't he? He's not doing anything at all. So I'm
thinking of the bit in his house as well, because there's a bit where he goes mad, and he is just literally rooted to the spot, isn't he? And he starts sort of almost looking up to the skies, where he's getting crazier and crazier. But you're right, he's not very animated.
Yeah. So because of that, the only other way that you can still bring out a performance like that is through your voice and your facial expression. So I can excuse that a bit. I think that's more down to the direction rather than him actually saying, right, I'm going to do this part, but I'm going to stand still the whole time. That's probably how, it didn't go that way at all. The director probably said, right, you stand here because we're going to have a camera here and a camera here. And, Liz Sladen's going to be there. So just stand there, but just do your thing. So that aside, I just thought he bought into it 100%. He was properly going for it at times.
He was fun. I mean, that cracked me up, actually, that scene. I know it's not supposed to, but the scene in his house where he really just, he sort of he just goes up and up and up a level, doesn't he? He's like five evil, 5 evil scores, 6 evil. He just keeps going up and up and up with the madness. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to explode in a minute. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
His performance. Yeah.
Yeah. It did smack a tiny little bit as well of like the really old fashioned Buck Rogers style villain, like where he's got the lightning coming out of his fingers and stuff. And he's got that evil cackle and stare and stuff.
That's right.
What's the other one? Flash Gordon. You know, that
Flash
old,
Gordon,
really old style 50s sci-fi where, somebody's got electrocution powers from their hands and stuff. So it did smack a tiny bit of that, but it's still fun to watch.
It was fun. Yeah.
Mr. Smith has a few lines, same as always. Get the fanfare.
That blimmin' reveal. Takes him forever to get out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I gotta love Mr. Smith though.
What do you reckon to the 3 younger Attic crew members then? So Rani, Clyde and Luke all had fairly decent performances again. I really like Clyde still. He's such a good character, isn't he? Luke. He
is, yeah.
Luke, I think, just needs to smile a little bit more because it feels like he's always got the weight of the world on his shoulders. Like he takes a concept on early in the program and then he just really overthinks it all throughout the rest of the program.
He sort of plays the I don't understand what's going on a lot, which was fine earlier on, but he's still doing that same thing. But they are gelling really nicely though, because obviously Ran is very new to the group, and I think the 3 of them, the sort of chemistry and the interaction between the 3 is already really strong. I think you just get they're working very well together. I think those guys, like you said, they all get something to do. Clyde stands out just because he comes out with the cheeky one-liners, but I think Rana is settling in really nicely. I'm liking her a lot already. And Luke, it was interesting that they acknowledge the fact he's a bit, different to the others in this story. But yeah, I know what you mean about his performance. He does give the same sort of thing. I'd like to see him sort of step up to the plate a bit more. Like at the end when he saves the day, he's like, oh, I saved the day. And I'm thinking, yeah, you did. So,
Yeah, pop the champagne.
I was going to say something, but I won't because it's not civil. But like, man up a bit sort of thing. Yeah. Right. But anyway.
Right. Yeah. So I think he just needs to, maybe that's a completely intentional. Well, I'm 99% sure that's completely intentional because you already have somebody like Clyde who's very outgoing and funny and he's, a bit of a lad. If Luke was to go down the same road, they might be too similar.
Yeah,
maybe.
True. Yeah.
So I think, don't get me wrong, that's probably by design. Luke's
and I
character,
do like Luke. Don't get me wrong, I do like him, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
By design, he's probably meant to be quite reserved and
more genteel,
a bit more of an introvert rather than somebody who's like Clyde. So it does work. It's just that. In some of the scenes, he really does feel like he's about to launch himself off of a building. It's like, dude, it's all right. You don't have to overthink the fact that you haven't got a belly button and you haven't got a star sign and stuff. It's cool. We've been down this road. Don't worry about it. But still a decent performance. And like you said, Rani's she's gelling pretty well.
Yeah, I like it. You can see that her and Sarah Jane are getting on. She gives Sarah Jane a couple of looks in this, doesn't she? Like the sort of friendship between the 2 of them is clearly taking over from the Maria character and stuff, so that's good.
It is, yeah. And then Sarah Jane, we're going to say the same thing every week, aren't we?
Well, she's brilliant in it.
She's just brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, she is. And she just really takes hold of this episode as well. I made a note about the scene when she stands up to possess Clive.
Oh yeah,
and it's just the strength in her performance. Like she's like she realizes that she's basically like, well, I'm going to get out of this room and I'm either going to, he's either going to kill me or he isn't. And she really stands up to him, doesn't she? She's like, if you're going to kill me, but I'm leaving this room. so you better get on with it, or something she says, doesn't she? And just the strength in her performance, I think, is brilliant. She looks terrified when he first bursts in as well. That first cliffhanger, she properly sells the, OMG, what's going on cliffhanger ending. So, yeah, she is brilliant. I know we say the same every week, but she really is just consistently great in her character and her performance.
Yeah. And that's the main word, isn't it? She's consistent every week.
She's just so lovable,
Yeah.
You want to spend time with her, don't you? And when she turns up at the theatre as well, it's like, what are you doing here, Mum? So, well, I just thought I'd come and check it out because she knows there's something going on. And the character is just so good.
Yeah, it feels like she's inherited the Doctor's kind of sixth sense of being able to spot something that's maybe not quite right. Do you know what I mean? It's like, when there's been loads of episodes where the Doctor lands somewhere in the TARDIS and the companions are off excited because they're in a particular time period or location, but within seconds of the Doctor walking out the TARDIS, he's looking around thinking something's not right here. Something's not quite as it should be. And Sarah Jane's almost inherited that sense, hasn't she, where she knows that something's not quite right with this, so she's going to check it out. And
I just love the fact that she's just so, every time she thinks there's something not right, she's just so up for getting stuck in there and sorting it out. There's no messing with her. And such a great character.
And it's good as well that she's got her little gadgets as well. She's got the watch that flips up and she can scan and stuff. That's good. No use of the sonic lipstick this
No
story.
Sonic lipstick this week, no.
So you can write a Doctor Who story without having to resort to a sonic device. It can be done.
It can be done, yeah.
You don't have to whip it out every 3 or 4 minutes and scan something. You can just
and I love that scene as well, because he's like, scan away, do what you like. And that was refreshing. It's not like him, what are you doing? Stop that at once. He was just like, you do what you like. I'm untouchable. Yeah. And I thought that was, again, a nice twist to the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no sonic lipstick. Maybe we'll see it next week.
Yeah.
I want to get one of them. Apparently they sell for a fortune on eBay, I'm not even joking.
They're really rare.
They're really rare, yeah.
Because they brought them out, they did a limited run of them.
Yeah, Character made a little set. I think you get the lipstick, you might get the watch of it. I can't remember. You get something. It's like a little set, little toy set. And if they sell for crazy money on eBay.
Crazy, yeah.
That'll be the holy grail of the collection, wouldn't it? The sonic lipstick in a glass cabinet.
Yeah.
I've got to get one now. You've set the challenge.
Here we go. I found one on eBay for you.
How much is it?
70 quid.
Ooh, maybe not today.
Yeah, you do get the watch. You get the watch.
You do get the watch
and the lipstick together. Yeah, it's in a cool little oval-shaped little plastic.
Don't tempt me with things like this. You know what I'm like.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
70 quid.
Yeah, roughly. So nearly £100 for that. So yeah, you're right. There's only a few on there, so they're quite rare if you can afford them. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention, buddy, before we close off with a score?
Let me have a look. No, I think we've said everything on my list, I think, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Right, I think it's me to go first, isn't it?
Yeah.
I am going to give this one a 6.5.
Okay, fair enough. I'm slightly ahead of you. I'm a 7.5.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, if part 2 had been better, this would have been an 8 for me. I was really enjoying it and I was really along for the ride on this one. But series episode 2, just let it down slightly. But yeah, it's a 7.5.
Cool. Yeah, for me, it would have been higher, but episode 2 really does tend to... It's not too bad. We've seen worse in Doctor Who and Sarah Jane. No, not in Sarah Jane. I've seen worse in Doctor Who, put it that way. But yeah, it just felt like it was
a bit laboured.
You're kind of like, wanting to crank the wheel a bit faster just to get to it. But yeah, decent scores, I would say. What did our listeners think? We had a couple of reviews in, a couple of audio ones, a few on Facebook and Twitter. Let's do the audio ones first. Our regular reviewer from Down Under, this is Sammy.
G'day, Gary and Adam, Sammy Satine here. So, the secrets of the stars. I don't know about you, but I don't particularly like these manipulative B words or con artists like Martin. Poor Cheryl. I stopped reading my horoscope a while ago when I realised it wasn't doing anything for me. I don't like this story as much as other ones. It's well done, just not really for me. I give it 5 astrology charts out of 10. See ya.
Oh, dear.
Middle of the road for Sammy.
Bit middle of the road, this one for Sammy.
Yeah. We got another one in. Let's see what Lewis Palmer thought.
Hello to the Big Blue Box podcast. So yes, Secret of the Stars, probably my least favourite episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures. And it's not bad. It sort of speaks to the quality of the show when this is my least favourite episode, but it isn't awful. It just sort of feels like standard kids' TV fare that it's not very memorable. A lot of people like this story. I'm sort of in the minority, but it's okay. It just seems a bit overly hammy, and I love my Doctor Who hammy, but it feels a bit too far, and it's just something just isn't there for me that it is in every other episode, and I don't know what it is. I don't think I'll ever get this story, but like I said, it isn't awful. It's just not great. So probably about a 5 or a 6 out of 10 for me. Yeah. See you next time, guys.
5 or a 6.
Oh, Lewis, 5 or a 6. Fair enough, mate.
Middle of the road again. Not too bad. Thank you very much, guys, for your audio clips. Let's see what was happening over on the other socials. So on Twitter, Electorald said, interesting story with great casting choices. Unique story that has some twists I didn't see coming. I love it when drama plays on real beliefs like star signs and puts a sci-fi spin on it. Martin Truman is a great villain, very evil, but weirdly likeable at the same time. Ian, ITM 1997 says, I think it should have gone more cosmic horror as compared to a lot of other SJ episodes. The campiness as it feels very jarring due to a lot more serious or just creepier stories around at that time of the show.
Okay.
Our writer, Jordan Shortman, quite a good outing for the gang, but one I've not gone back to in a long time. I remember enjoying it, and I wish SJA had done cosmic stories a little more often, but Martin Truman was an enjoyable villain. Overall, it was pretty enjoyable. The Who Society said, I've always really liked this story. It's really enjoyable, well casted, sinister at times, and a great cliffhanger. Really entertaining, 8 out of 10.
8, okay, good.
The QM Umbrella says, one of my least favourite episodes, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
So Jacob Birtwhistle says, I love this episode, great ideas and a story and great acting, even if the guy who played Martin does go over the top a little bit. An 8 out of 10.
Sorry, if I didn't react then, it's because the Skype cut out.
Yeah,
even if the guy... All I got was the guy playing Martin. I assume you said I went over the top.
He goes over the top, and he gave it an 8 out of 10.
An 8, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't Adam just being like, yeah, whatever. Just
yeah. So the good old Skype cut out.
Let's have a look. Andrew Hayden says, I originally said I wasn't a fan of it when I heard the title, but I realised I got it confused with The Vault of Secrets. Overall, I like the story, and the ending being that Luke won't be hypnotised because he hasn't got a birth month is genius.
Yeah, it's good.
And lastly on Twitter, the Running Whovian Sarah says, another great episode where once again an actor best known for their comedic genius delivers a fabulously serious and sinister performance. Russ Abbott got it spot on. The rest of the cast played all their parts well, and I found the storyline enjoyable at 8.5.
Excellent. Cheers, Sarah.
Thank you very much. A couple on Twitter. Mars McKenzie always seems to forget about this story. It's a hidden gem, though. I really like the concept of it. Rani really settles in well, and the rest of the gang and the cast are on top point as ever. Rani's parents have great chemistry, and I just find them so entertaining. Overall, 8 out of 10.
Nice.
8. And Joseph Howarth says, I do vaguely recall the second part of this episode, but not the first. And always remember how that part goes. But seeing as I've now watched both parts all the way through, it reminds me of a modern Mask of Mandragora, which is interesting. I bring them up because the Mandragora was going to be a part of this 2-parter. But unfortunately, they scrapped the idea because the fact that the younger audience wouldn't get it and was more aimed at the classic series. Oh, that's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Overall, good stuff from SJA, as usual, an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
So I would say this one's gone down pretty well. Mainly middle of the road to fairly good scores, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I would say so.
I should say so, yeah.
Right, so thank you very much, guys, for sending in your thoughts and reviews. Always really good to read them out, as always. Thank you so much. Next week, it's the turn of classic Doctor Who. What have we got next week, buddy?
Hiya! It's the third Doctor. I'm expecting a bit of Venusian Aikido next week. I don't know if there is any in this one, actually. I don't know why I did that. But Mutants next week. The Mutants.
The Mutants.
I know I say this every week, but I can't remember a blimmin' thing about this story.
The Mutants, Sarah Jane.
Yeah, it's a 6-parter, isn't it? I have to get some watching hours in. But yeah, that should be good. The Mutants with the Mutt.
The
Mutt creature. Yeah.
6 parts, as you said.
6-parter, yeah. Pertwee ones are often 6 or 7, aren't they? Yeah.
So get your DVDs out.
That's all right, yeah.
Get them out and get them watched, because as always, we'll be asking for your guys' thoughts and reviews and opinions on that. So, yeah, get it watched.
Who's the companion in that one?
Unless you watched it very recently, of course, and you've got it in your memory, that's cool. The companion, it's...
Is it Lovely Katie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe Grant.
Excellent.
Yep.
God, it's a heck of a cast. Oh, God, look at all these names we've got to have to remember next week. Oh, my gosh.
I know, mate. We won't remember them. But,
no, we won't.
Yeah. So, right, the Mutants next week. We'll be asking for your thoughts on that. So I think we're going to wrap there as well for 220.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sticking with us and listening to episode 220. 220, eh?
220, I know. Rattling around.
Yeah. It's very cool that Doctor Who picked up an award for the episode Rosa from Series 11. Very cool.
Yeah.
And the Big Chief, 13th Doctor figure. Let us know if you're going to pick that up and what your thoughts are on that. Hopefully they hit their target, which would be good. You'd hate to see something like that just collapse.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that hits the mark. Next week, as we've said, the Mutants, bit of Pertwee action, get that watched. Look forward to your reviews on that one. In the meantime, head over to our website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all of our episodes on there. Plus, you can link off to all of the various podcast networks. Drop us a subscribe on those so that you don't miss a show when it lands every Friday. There's also buttons there to link off, or just do a search for us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Give us a follow or a sub on those. We chat plenty of Doctor Who during the week. And also check out Adam's channel over on YouTube, The Geek's Handbag.
Yes.
Do a search for The Geek's Handbag. Loads and loads of cool unboxings, reviews, Adam's thoughts on life itself. And lots of sci-fi stuff as well.
Yeah, loads of stuff.
Yes. And you're also on all the socials as well. So under the same name, The Geek's Handbag. Again, we chat lots of Doctor Who. So until next week for 221, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember...